How you make $40,000 a year, but you drive a Hellcat?
Nothing brings me joy like living beyond my means.
So nobody has regular apartments anymore? Everybody's got the high-rise, long windows, natural light.
So I'm 39 years old and I have zero savings for retirement. And I don't know when I'm going to be able to start saving because my bills cost more than my paycheck.
Americans are waking up and realizing that they are living above their means, spending more money out of their paycheck, trying to live a life that they cannot afford. For example, some people are spending the majority of their paychecks on rent at a place that they cannot afford. And you have some people spending a lot more money on just different unnecessary items that could be put towards other resources. But we're going to check out more on this topic and kind of dive deeper into it. Be sure to smash that like button, hit subscribe for the algorithm. Over talking, let's get straight to the video.
All right, let's talk money, y'all. So the investor and portfolio manager, Mike Green, came out last week and basically said that the economic data that the United States government puts out in regards to what the poverty line is false and it needs to be updated. I forget what the exact number was, but I think the United States government has the poverty line somewhere between like $38,000 and $45,000 a year, right, for a family of four. And Mike Green was basically saying, nah, y'all gotta update that. This is crazy. Like, I know I've been making money and millions on millions and I'm this big portfolio manager and my kids and my wife and everything is good. But like, when I looked at this data, I was like, nah, this can't be right. So he put out his economic data and said that the real math or cost of survival for a family of four in the United States is $140,000 a year. And I said, Mike, it definitely is higher than 45,000 for a family of four, but 140, you might be pushing it. And then I saw the breakdown. Let's go over this breakdown. And I'm gonna compare it to myself, who lives a modest life in Connecticut, right? And show you how realistic what this dude is saying is real. And why is the government hiring this from us, right? So childcare, $32,000 a year. $32,700 a year is roughly $2,700 a month, right? We are blessed. We have a 14-year-old and an 8-year-old, so we don't have daycare costs. We got just general costs of raising children and after school activities and sports and things of that nature. But we don't have that bill. But from my friends who have kids, I know people who are paying $1,500 to $1,800 a month for one kid. So $2,700 is definitely a realistic number if you a family of four, mom, dad, or two parents and two children, who are pre-grade school. You got a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. That's realistic. Okay, bet. It's not my personal situation, but that's a realistic number, right? Housing, $23,200. That is roughly $1,900 a month. I know plenty of people who pay $2,200 a month for rent, $2,500 a month for rent. Or if you bought a house in the past 3 or 4 years, post 2021, you got a mortgage of $2,600 to $3,500 a month. Yeah, they paying more than $23,000 a year in housing. You know what I'm saying? Because that housing figure is 19. So, okay, you may not have the child costs, but you probably got the $3,200 mortgage or the $2,600 rent. So take it from the child costs, add it to that. We also were blessed. We bought in 2019. So my housing cost is significantly lower. My mortgage is only $1,200 a month, which is only $14,000 a year. So we're significantly under there. Food, he got it at $14,700. That is roughly $1,200 a month. We're spending more than that on food. I'll tell you right now, we on average are spending $1,500 to $1,600 a month on food. And that's just grocery store food. You know what I'm saying? That's not us eating out and we eat out. So we're close to the $18,000 to $21,000 a year on food in my household for my family of four, right? Transportation, we paid off our cars. So we don't have any car notes or anything like that. All we have is insurance on the cars and gas. So for cars, we're about $3,500 a year to cover them, insure them, and gas and maintenance. $3,500 to $4,000 a year. Transportation at $14,008. That's roughly $1,200 a month on transportation, right? That's two people with $450 to $500 car notes and some insurance. You got a $450 car note, your spouse got a $520 car note, and y'all both paying $100 a month in insurance. Y'all paying way more than that when you factor in gas and everything and maintenance and stuff like that. So that number also is realistic. Healthcare, he got it at $10,500. That is a realistic number if depending on what you got going on. Do you have to pay for healthcare out of pocket? Do you do the subsidized stuff through the Obamacare marketplace? Trump is switching all that up now, so come January, the healthcare is about to be even more crazy. Or do you have healthcare that's sponsored through your employer? We're blessed. My wife works for an employer who subsidizes probably 75 to 80% of the healthcare costs. So we pay roughly $380 a month for healthcare for the family of four. But I'm an entrepreneur. And when I was looking up healthcare before my wife and went and got a full-time job and we got that blessing of a benefit, my healthcare for my family of four out of pocket as an entrepreneur was $2,400 a month. That's almost $29,000 a year if you're an entrepreneur or someone who doesn't have a subsidized plan through an employer out of your pocket. So if you're an entrepreneur, you're paying way more than $10,000 a year, but you could be paying less depending on what your healthcare provider. That number is also realistic. And then he has $21,000 or $22,000 for other essentials, also very realistic. That's $2,000 a month. That could be your toiletries in your house. That could be sports for your kids. That could be, there's so many clothes. You know, something breaks in the house, the furnace goes out. My furnace just went out. I just paid $900 to get that fixed. You know what I'm saying? Like just miscellaneous stuff. That leaves you with a total of $118,000 of real cash dollars. Then you have to factor in that even though you make a certain amount of income, you got to pay taxes. So he added in another $18,500 for taxes, which puts you at a real poverty line of $140,000. Now, some would argue that that's not the poverty line, that's surviving. But to me in this country, if you're just covering your basic essentials, you just got a car, you got food on the table, you got somebody to watch your kids while you work, like you're not thriving. So yeah, that's poverty. Like $140. Family of four, $140. That's insane.
I think it's all in just how you're able to budget finances, because everybody's financial obligations and things, that expenses that they have is all different. So it all really depends on what your paycheck is. But to be spending or to have $140,000 as the poverty line. I know for me, for example, I know for my family, we were able to do pretty well off of just living off of 75 to 80K a year. And, you know, we just had different ways of how we allocated money and it had to take some sacrifices. But in today's market, you're starting to see like there's a lot more responsibilities or a lot more expenses that come with living in today than maybe before.
So I was talking to somebody about like saving money, and this is what prompted me to make this video. When I was 15 years old and I had to get into the workforce and start working, I did not get that job to be able to hoard money up and be able to save money. Nor did my parents, my family put me in a position to sit up there and hoard money and save money. And it's nothing against them and it's not to bash them. But a lot of people have to understand that when you are, I don't know what type of poor y'all were, because we know we have the poverty Olympics, but the type of poor I was is like, I got a job to take care of my basic needs, my wants, and everything like that. It wasn't for me to sit up there and be able to hoard my money. Like, no, I worked because I needed to be able to take care of myself and my basic necessities and everything like that, or to help someone else out. So when people bring up like, oh, you know, poor people are living above their means, what y'all have to understand is a lot of people who are born into poverty, they have never got the chance to really fucking live. When you are born into poverty, you are automatically pushed into survival mode. So when you see someone who is low income and they're buying something for themselves, let them have that.
Yo, I really do understand where she's coming from. I actually know some people that did grow up where, you know, money was very tight. Instead of you having these kids that are in high school working for the first time, they're not really able to use their money to spend on just, you know, things for them, but they're almost having to help out and to really grow up fast to provide for the family. And while at some point I do see how everybody's financial situation is different, it is kind of challenging when you're seeing people just in their younger years, just getting to work for the first time. And instead of allowing that time of working to be towards maybe saving up for a new car or maybe wanting to get more new clothes or something, you're having to have that responsibility to pay bills or having to help your parents out. And that's just a very horrible way to grow up and just a very horrible way to live life.
Anyone agreeing with Odell Beckham Jr. and saying that $100 million is not enough money to live off of? And I'm going to use his same stipulation, right? He says, hey, you're gonna have to take 40 million out of that for taxes, all this other stuff. You're basically stuck with $60 million. If you can't make $60 million work over your lifetime, then you are financially illiterate. The biggest problem with NBA players and NFL players, anybody actually within the entertainment sector, they have a hard time saying no to people. I seen in a clip where he was like, yeah, I'm going to buy cars and all that stuff. Buddy, Kawhi Leonard was running around. I think it was a Lincoln. Someone correct me on that. It was either a Lincoln or a Bronco or something like that. It was a very old ass car that he was driving, and he was in a max contract. He was making over $200 million in a contract year. Chad Ochocinco told y'all this nigga was living in the fucking facility until he couldn't anymore. Like, niggas find ways to ease the burden on money. So you telling me you got $60 million? And here's the thing that I'm going to add to it. He received $100 million in NFL money, right? This is not counting his jersey sales. This is not counting the brand deals that he's gotten. This is not counting the commercials that he's been in. So you got more money than $100 million, bro. You're telling me that you've been that irresponsible with your money? You don't need a supercar, bro. You're a fucking celebrity, my nigga. You can get a regular ass car, maybe another car just in case that one breaks down, but you don't need a supercar every year.
I agree. $100 million is a lot of money, and it's very rare for just anybody to be making that much money. And if you can't live off of $100 million or even retire and able to budget $100 million, then maybe you just doing something wrong. Because I know if I had $100 million, I would be living perfectly fine.
I've seen like maybe 3 or 4 videos of people talking about the content creator who said that she makes $50K a month. That's every 30 days. Not $50K a year, not $50K 365 days, but $50K a month every 30 days. And it's not enough for her. And people were like, how is that not enough? Like, you make $50K a month. Someone did the math. That's $600,000 a year. And that's not enough for you. And then this guy just stitched her video, and I just watched like whatever part he stitched. So I think I know who she's talking about. I don't know her, but I've seen her face. And it's like, you make $50K a month every 30 days, and it's not enough for you. And I guess people were like, how is that not enough? And people heard in her comments were like, well, you know, when you make that much money, you know, your finances go up and things go up and, you know, things change. Your finances only go up and you have to spend money because you're trying to live a luxurious lifestyle. You're buying more stuff that you don't need, buying expensive cars, buying expensive clothes, buying expensive like items, buying expensive houses that you don't need, instead of living at your means or maybe slightly above to where you're comfortable. But you're trying to live way above your means, and that's why it's not enough for you, because you're trying to outdo what you were used to having to do before you got that money. And like, it makes no sense to me, because there are people out here who would love to make $50K a month, and then who would know how to make that money enough. Like, some people, $50K every 2 months would be enough for some people to make it work. Like, some people don't make $50K in a year, and you make $50K every fucking 30 days, and it's not enough for you. And it's fucking crazy. Like, you're living way above your means, and that's why it's not enough for you. When people get this much money, they try to outdo the next, or be just like their favorite whoever person, thinking they can get there, and they again start living above their means. I know I'm talking in circles, but like, it fucking baffles me that you make $50K a month and it's not enough for you. And like I said, there are people out there, and mainly me, including me, who would love to make $50K a month and who would make that shit work. I'd make that shit work.
I'm 39 years old and I have 0 savings for retirement. And I don't know when I'm going to be able to start saving because my bills cost more than my paycheck. We're working 60 plus years, and we retire broke. I'm seeing videos of 80-year-olds that are too old to work, but too poor to retire. Name one person you know that's gotten wealthy throughout all their years of working. Just really think about it. Did your grandparents get wealthy from working? Are your parents wealthy from working? Are you wealthy yet from working? And my grandparents had to choose between prescriptions and food. I remember that before they passed away. I remember them having to make those choices. I know people who worked their whole life and they retired poor. They didn't get to retire because they were poor. They were too poor to retire. I don't know anybody, or I haven't personally met anybody who's created wealth from working their whole life.
Yeah, I'm just getting on here to talk because I just had a debate with somebody about this topic. But what we were talking about was like how people live above their means just to impress other people, like just for other people to think that they on a higher level than what they are. And it's like material things don't make you on a higher level than somebody else. Like, if you understand what I'm saying. I feel like a lot of people buy houses just to say they have a house, but can't really afford the house. A lot of people buy vehicles, luxury vehicles, just to say they have a luxury vehicle and can't afford the maintenance or the repairs on the car, the maintenance or the payments on the cars, instead of really just like getting something within their means and then like taking care of yourself financially there by having a car to get you from point A to point B, or living somewhere that's comfortable. Like, I just feel like a lot of people just live above their means and wonder why they still like struggle. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to do that. If I'm in an apartment for 20 years, I don't care. Like, I'm just in an apartment for 20 years. Like, and if you got a house, shit, I'm happy for you. You feel what I'm saying? Like, if I was driving a bullshit car that got me from point A to point B, cool. Like, as long as I got a car, I'm Gucci. Like, yeah, I upgraded a few things in my life, but I upgraded to what fits my financial, what I can afford. Like, basically, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not about to sit here and get things that I can't afford just to show off for everybody. Like, people always ask me for favors. My family asks me, like, my friends, and like, I want to be able to travel. I want to be able to be a little bit, like, financially stable for when I do decide to have kids, and I want to be able to help those around me. So it's like, I'm just not going to put myself in a situation that I can't afford. Like, that's just me. Like, but I feel like a lot of people do. And to each his own, but I would rather my life be easier than hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, so when you see me with a house, it's because I was fully prepared for that house.
All right, kudos to her for wanting to buy things within her means. But I just really wish that a lot of people would really take the time to really realize this. You're spending money on things that are unnecessarily expensive. It almost comes to a point where it's like you have to really budget. You have to really take a step back and consider maybe you're spending a little bit too much on certain things, and let's maybe cut back. It's something that's a little bit more affordable.
So nobody has regular apartments anymore. Everybody's got the high-rise, long windows, natural light, patio, countertops, the bar stools. Even if you don't have it, everybody's wanting that now. The amount of people who are ashamed of live in lower priced apartment complex because they feel they wouldn't fit in with the people who are paying $1,500 plus a month to live in a 1-bedroom apartment is crazy. Keeping up with the Joneses is gonna have a lot of people broke for a long time. That's why people can't afford nothing. You got blessed and was able to live in an apartment complex in a neighborhood that offered you $800 rent a month. Would you live there? Would you confidently be able to live there and not be concerned about how people will judge you, about how people will try to test and judge your pockets? Would you be able to confidently live in lower price apartment complexes and neighborhoods without feeling shame because you feel like people would judge your pockets based on the type of style of apartment or home you live in?
I feel like a lot of people live above their means and do not even know it. Like you feel like it's a requirement for you to get your nails done, even though you don't have a car. You mean to tell me you couldn't take 2 seconds to learn to do your own hair? You didn't have enough time to learn to do your own hair, but you have enough time to go out to eat? The problem is you're living above your means and you don't even know it because you're so used to seeing everybody around you live above their means. You will be better off doing that, such as I do, money or not, and making that turkey sandwich, regardless. If your coworkers go out to eat and they ask you to go out to eat, you can pack your turkey sandwich with you and eat before you go. You and your friend can hang out and have a good time without having to spend money. And this is the most uncomfortable truth that you have to sit in. You know you don't have the money to do it, but for some reason you still do it. Because you've seen your mom live above her means, she saw her mama live above her means, and so on and so forth. And for the people that don't know what to live above their means means, it means spending less than what you make. Way less. The problem is you get a raise and you spend more money. That money can go towards debt, your savings, or anything else. But society says, girl, it's time to get a new car. Girl, it's time to get some new hair, new shoes, new this, new that. You didn't need any of that. You was perfectly fine before, if you really want to be honest. All I'm saying is do better. Look at your account. When you get a new raise, you get some new money, put it towards something that you need to put it towards. Stop going out to eat. The food ain't even that good anyway.
This woman here is right when it comes to just, even if you're in a position where you're making more money than you were before, it's better to save that money, invest it into different stocks, or just take the time to focus it on paying off debt and other expenses that needs to be paid, because some people do fall into that trap. And by any means, if you can't afford it, then be sure to do it within still a reasonable amount of money to where you're able to budget to say, okay, I have this much down spending to get maybe a nicer place, but let's make sure that we have enough money to save in case of an emergency or put towards other expenses that are required.
Yo, so y'all been seeing them videos of people that's doing shit like, selling a car. I got rid of my $900 car payment car so I could get a cash car, a 2003 Tahoe, and I don't have to pay a car note anymore. I love my 2006 Lexus that I have now because I don't have a car note. I'm moving out of my high-rise apartment downtown and I'm moving into a regular apartment with a white fridge. And like they trying to like make this trend of like downsize and like get some kind of trend, but let's like, no, nigga, a lot of y'all are just going back to where y'all supposed to be at. Just saying. Instead of just saying like, yeah, I was living above my means. I was trying to flex. I was doing shit I wasn't supposed to be doing. Y'all trying to make it like trendy or like this kind of coin a new term for y'all was living above y'all means. Like that's one thing about this economy right now. It's resetting this shit and putting a lot of people back to where they supposed to be. I'm just saying. I'm not saying that to sound elitist. I'm just saying like a lot of folks was out here living way above their means with all that the imaginary money in their pockets from them stimmy checks and all that type of shit. A lot of people was doing shit they ain't had no business doing, living how they wasn't supposed to be living. Yeah, I'm meal prepping. Nigga, you eating leftovers because your ass can't afford the DoorDash and go out to eat every fucking week, every damn day for every damn meal like you was doing. Them credit cards and shit maxed out. You got folks out here trying to like make couponing trendy and shit. Like, bro, that's the type of shit that y'all was supposed to be doing to begin with.
Nothing brings me joy like living beyond my means. Sure, I could have saved up my money. I didn't need to make that impulse purchase. But you know what? I'll enjoy it. That trip that I'm going to go on later, I'll enjoy it. Those items that I bought, I'll enjoy using them. It doesn't matter, okay? Sue me. Was it a bad decision? Maybe, okay? But it brought me joy in that moment. I know at the end of a I deserved it week, I'll feel some guilt and I'll not want to look at my bank app and I'll avoid that. But you know what? I deserved it, okay?
Live like this to where it's like, oh, well, I'm just gonna, buy this. I don't care what other people think. Yes, while I do agree, it is good to treat yourself every now and then and to get you something nice. You do also kind of don't want to spend too much to where you don't have anything else left over, where it's like yeah, these little expenses or these little purchases that you're making is good to spend every now and then. But when you're constantly spending that every week, every day, every month, then that's money starts to add up to where it's like, okay, maybe we need to take a step back and really reevaluate where we're at. So just within what we're spending our money on.
How you make $40,000 a year, but you drive a Hellcat? How you out every weekend buying drinks, but your credit card's maxed out? How can you afford to go on vacation when you ain't paid your car note in 2 months? Baby, your car about to go on a permanent vacation to the repo lot. We can't be having a lobster appetite on a ramen noodle budget. It ain't gonna work. I got the newest and freshest outfit down to the socks, and I ain't got no money in my checking account. What sense does that make? And I know because I've done it before, trying to live above your means and impress people, and it just ain't it. I'd rather have people care about the content of my character first. It just ain't worth it to be fronting all the time and pretending. The truth gonna come to the light eventually. Do not spend all your money trying to impress people. They don't care that much anyways. The only person you should be trying to impress is yourself every day. So just remember, this weekend, drinks are not on you.
And with that being said, that's going to be the end of this video. At the end of the day, please just try to budget your money, spend the money that you need to spend for your rent and everything. And please do not put a lot of it towards try to live above your means, and try to at most live enough to where you have more than enough money to do the things that are necessary for emergency purchases or just any other things that may come up. Y'all let me know y'all's thoughts down in the comment section. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and I'll see y'all in the next video.